Hello world, good morning. So today I want to talk to you about taking advice. Giving it, that's something else we can talk about too. But for now, I want to talk about something that I learned about yesterday, something I heard that I thought was great advice. And what's ironic is his advice was don't take people's advice fully. You gotta be careful with it, you gotta filter it out. And it's one of those things that I kind of think I knew, but it wasn't until hearing him explain it that I realized, yeah, this is all very good. This is all something that I should definitely keep in mind. Well, you can just go watch his video on it. It's very good. And I will link it down below so you can find the original. But I wanted to give my own personal take, and also, who knows, maybe his video gets taken down someday and mine's still available to someone to watch. The point is that everyone gives advice for a reason. And they may be trying to help you, but still underneath that, there's a reason for why they're trying to help you. Not necessarily a bad reason, but a reason that may not align with your goals and aspirations. One main example is trying to protect you. Parents, I know I'm guilty of this. I believe fathers are usually less like this than mothers, but we definitely do want to protect. We will give advice to help avoid the pain, help avoid failure. And his video is about being an entrepreneur and starting a business, but it applies to all areas of life. When we tell our kids, don't do that, don't do this, it's because we're trying to help them avoid the bad consequences that we know come when you do one of those things. Because we've been there before and learned that. Or we're just repeating what someone else has told us. But usually it's because we've been there. We've done that. Now think about that for a minute. You know it because you've done it. Now you're asking your children not to do it. Well, it's hard not to, because you don't want to see them suffer. But if you're truly honest with yourself, you realize that you can warn them, but to really know it, they'll have to do it themselves too. Now, there are some things in life that we hope they just watch and learn from seeing someone else go through that experience. But there's nothing that teaches better than going through it yourself, than doing it yourself. So, main piece of advice, the only piece of advice I think you could ever consider to be valid, true, best piece of advice. Take everyone else's advice with a grain of salt. Don't listen to it full flat. Don't just apply it directly in your life 100%. Look at it and learn, see, okay, what are they trying to get me to learn? What did they go through to give this advice? Where have they been? Where are they trying to keep me safe from? And then when you go do your thing, because it's up to you to live your life in a way that makes sense for you in the moment you're in, you can try and apply the parts of that advice that make sense for you. But you still have to learn and do on your own. Now, the other part that he talks about, besides just much advice being given to protect you, and in the end, keeping you from actually learning something, the circumstances in which that person learned the thing they're trying to share with you was different for them. was very likely different for them. They had a different financial situation. They had a different family. They had a different background. There was a different economy around them at the time. They had a different skill set. So whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is the advice they're giving you, you gotta listen to it and think, okay, what if this applies to me? How are they different from me? What am I doing differently from what they did? Do thank them, right? Do be grateful that someone was willing to take the time to give advice from their own experience, but apply it for yourself. And this is where I'd add something he didn't say. And this is probably the greatest piece of advice. Talk to the one person who actually fully knows and understands you 100% better than anyone. And that's your Savior, Jesus Christ. He's been through everything you've been going through. He knows exactly what you're going through because he went through it for you, to know for you, in the flesh, what you're going through. So, go to him, ask him, listen to his advice. Now, that often means listening to someone around you who is also in tune with the Spirit. God will talk to us in many ways, and one of them is through the people around us. So do listen. Do try to seek out what it is God's trying to tell you. But remember, what are they trying to protect you from? And how can you learn from it? And what's different about their situation from yours? How can you apply the principle they're trying to teach, but in a way that makes sense for you? Maybe for them, they started a business back in the day when they just knocked every door, and that worked for them. Well, maybe that still works, but maybe now is a time where people and all their electronic doorbells or whatever, they'll know who's coming before they even go to the door, and so they just don't open. Like, oh, I don't know that person, I'm not gonna open. Oh, they look weird, not gonna open. Or they're just never home because nowadays people are out working more than they used to. I don't know if that's true, it's just, a possible comparison. Maybe now instead of knocking every door, you need to call every number in the phone book. Oh wait, we don't have phone books anymore. Okay, don't call every number in the phone book. Send a message to everyone you see on LinkedIn, right? Principle is go out and talk to people. How you do it might be different. So, what are they trying to protect you from? How do you learn from that instead of avoiding it? Well, maybe you should avoid it too, but put some safeguards in place. Learn from the experience they learned from. And how do you apply it to you? Different from how it applied to them. Well, I invite you to think about that as you get advice over the next few days and, the rest of your life. How does that advice apply to you specifically? And how do you confirm it with the Lord to get to know His will for you and His advice for your life? So that's my invitation to you and my challenge. I'll leave that with you. I hope you have another good day. Bye for now.